So I, the Undertale Deltarune Shorts guy, please don't know me as that I also make good video essays too guy, used to do this video series about Undertale/Deltarune plushies where I would talk about what's inside each Undertale and Deltarune plush and analyze, what it means. Basically I was glazing Toby Fox, saying how cool it was he was able to add deeper characterization or funny jokes in even his plush merchandise. Like that's some crazy attention to detail. Anyway, since so many people are asking where'd the series go, here it is in one video. Here is what's inside each Undertale and Deltarune plush, and why they're there. Inside the Sans plush, there's fluffy red cotton since Sans bleeds after you kill him in the genocide route. I think Toby Fox added this to show how important it is that Sans bleeds. I mean, have you seen all the theories of why Sans could be human and what the blood means? And with Deltarune having Susie bleed, I feel like Toby Fox is leaning to it more and it may be an important plot point if the theories are correct. And if it isn't, well, I feel like these two times we've seen monsters bleed, Toby Fox has emphasized it in the story that we're seeing a very important plot point where we see a side of a character we've never really seen before. Like Sans being defeated and more emotional, which only kind of happens in the true pacifist route, and the most mad Susie has seemingly been. Regardless, all of this was from a single piece of f***ing red cotton. Let's look at the limited edition Undyne plush. Inside of Undyne's plush is a letter, more specifically the letter she asks you to deliver to Alphys in the true pacifist route. Again, this is a simpler example where Toby Fox is doing deeper characterization by having something inside of the plush. Undyne is a tomboyish person with a tough demeanor who's literally in the Royal Guard military of the underground. She doesn't really seem like the feelings type of person, but as the player learns in the game, she's actually a very kind, caring, and understanding person, especially towards Alphys. And as we know, Toby Fox has made it a point that contrast is important.
Whether people like the break from goofiness or not, it's important to change the atmosphere occasionally. Otherwise there's no contrast, and everything is only interesting because of contrast.
So an item like Alphys' letter is the most clear thing to add as her item in the plush. It represents her contrast. Tough on the outside, caring in the inside. I wouldn't even say sensitive because Undyne is still very tough on the inside too. It's just that Toby Fox subverts, or to better say it, contrasts her tough personality with genuine care. Let's look at Mettaton's plush that has his house key inside of it. I think this is the most clear example of contrast. Mettaton is an entertainment robot whose purpose is to entertain and spread happiness around the underground. However, Mettaton's story goes so much deeper than that, as we learn by acquiring his house key and reading his journals. It's a story about fandom, social life, and popularity, especially regarding his relationship with Alphys, and also a trans allegory, and it's really beautiful that Toby Fox fit all that in with a character that was just evil entertainment robot. The social connections we're able to create through fandom, the need to change, having to leave others you hold close behind, and the unfortunate effects of fame is all represented by this house key in a plush, which Toby Fox decided to include in his merch to show the character's contrast. If you go to the Deltarune merch, Toby Fox seems to be doing the exact same thing. I'll look at the Ralsei ones later. Let's look at a generally less obvious character first. Sham. Sham is a shopkeeper that knows a lot more about the game than he lets on. Let's call them one of the freedom characters like Spamton, Ram, and of course, Jevil. Jevil is a character who seems to be driven mad by knowing more knowledge about how Deltarune and Darkners work, and Sham, who used to work with Jevil, was the one who ended up sealing Jevil in his cell. Those two clearly had a close friendship, and if you ask shippers, something more. But anyway, these two were close, and due to the curse of freedom knowledge, were separated. What better item to put in Sham's plush to represent how their knowledge has both gifted and cursed them than one of the broken key pieces to Jevil's cell? It's pretty much the perfect item for them. Now let's get into more theoristy territory, except what I'm doing is not actually theory, it's just character analysis. We'll do more of that here, but it's more flexible, not as clear. So for example, let's look at the two Ralsei plushes, black and white hat and no hat. So Ralsei's hat form contains this drawing from the scrapped in-game manual where Ralsei says,
"Thank you. I'm looking forward to meeting you."
Meanwhile, no hat Ralsei's plush contains a cake. So I think both of these speak to what is truly Ralsei's character. Hat Ralsei, at least the purpose of him keeping his hat, was to feel more like he fit into his purpose, or what he believed was his purpose. He is the Darkener in the prophecy who serves the Lighteners and will help the two Lighteners in the prophecy in his journey. Essentially, the single note inside Hat Ralsei's plush shows his sort of self-scrutiny and low image he thinks of himself. In his self-perception, he isn't really a person, just, in a more positive way, a helper, and in a more negative way, a servant to the Lighteners. The only thing that's different about him as a Darkener is that he's in the prophecy. I feel like Hat Ralsei's perception that his life isn't very purposeful and his only excitement is from meeting the two Lighteners from the prophecy is emphasized by this single note. But as you know, in chapter 1, Ralsei goes through a character arc, and as he becomes slightly more independent, we see him remove his hat to show his true fluffy self. With this comes more independence as he becomes closer to Kris and Susie. Instead of no Hat Ralsei having that letter, it's the cake he promises to bake to Kris and Susie, / the cake that he does bake but Susie eats it all. So you can read this as Ralsei, like I said, growing closer friends with Kris and Susie by being his true self. The cake is what he gives the two, not as a servant, but as a friend. Or he still considers himself a servant, but lesser so, or is at least fighting those urges. You can see at the end of Deltarune chapter 3 that Ralsei seems to revert back to this state, where he tries cheering up Tenna in the worst way possible, saying something like, "Darkeners only serve Lighteners, and when they want to replace us, we're replaced. It's bad." Ralsei gives the worst pep talk ever, asked to leave the Dark World levels of bad. I don't think it's really out of character, but more so a relapse of a bad mindset. It's him seeing this and not really having hope, but in the story, in the game, Susie combats that by telling a story of hope. You can see the cake inside of his plush as a symbol for both growing hope and a tiny bit of insecurity that he still feels like he's fated to be in the prophecy's shackles forever. Or it's just a cake. So, let's go with the more interpretive approach with plushes like Toriel, who has a white monster soul inside of her. I feel like the white monster soul inside of her plush represents how she's the first major monster character that we see and feel attachment to in Undertale. If you played Undertale blind, there's a chance you killed every NPC, maybe spared some because they were just NPCs, funny and silly written NPCs, but just NPCs. I feel like Toriel is a character a lot of people sympathize with because it ties into Undertale's whole mercy theme, and it's the first character a lot of people go, wait, I think killing her is wrong and not a good idea? A lot of people probably mercy her or kill her, then reload their save, or feel bad when they kill her. Again, this is assuming if you're playing it for the first time, no spoilers. Essentially, Toriel is the first character the game really humanizes closely to both Frisk and the player. So her having a monster soul inside of her plush emphasizes how important she is. Next to Sans and Papyrus, she's probably the next most important figurehead of Undertale. Let's do a bit of a shift and go to two plushies, Spamton and Tenna. Tenna aside, these two have, or used to have, a clear close connection and relationship together, as shown by both of their plushies having Pippis. So that's kinda clear, right? But what isn't clear is who lays them. So Spamton and Tenna's Pippis imagery is kinda obvious. They both value it and you can attach any kind of metaphor to it. Spamton flaunts it and brags about it, and Tenna has one he values but hides it and is embarrassed by it. Is this a metaphor for being gay? Regardless, both are very intertwined and clearly care about each other. Everybody talks about the new Deltarune chapter 5 scene and mention Mike ass, but like, Spamton and Tenna and Mike characterization. Toby Fox just flat out writes them caring for each other that clearly. I think that's sweet. Okay, so these next plushies are gonna be a bit different. I'll be going through them very quickly and you'll see why. First off, the Monster Kid plush has this "you earn 2 XP" tag inside of them. Other than this being a reference to their stats also being 2, I feel like this plush detail being Genocide Root exclusive is really interesting. Next, the Napstablook plush, which contains the Ghost Sandwich. Now there's a deep meaning here, right? This plush has this because of the joke where Napstablook has the Ghost Sandwich. The Papyrus plush. He has an annoying dog inside of his plush carrying one of his bone attacks, just like in the game. And lastly, Temmie, who has different colored cotton pieces of Temmie. I'm pretty sure many consider these Temmie flakes. So yeah, as you can see, not every plush has some immediate deep meaning. I feel like you can make a case with each of these that they're about characterization or whatever, but with these ones, it's just kinda what you see in the game and you already know what these characters are like anyway. Also, the Flowey plush, Jevil plush, Lancer plush, and the annoying dog memory foam plush do not have anything inside of them as far as I'm aware. You can make a case about why these plushes don't have anything inside of them, like Flowey having no soul, but like, it's probably budget cuts. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Please say there's important updates from this channel, and I think this channel is good. I want to talk about the past couple of the quote-unquote long-form videos I've been doing. I don't want to diminish them as low effort because I put in effort, but it's clear they ain't no full-length analysis. I just wanted to make videos delivering on UTDR news from the perspective of someone who isn't really going full theory crafting on them and instead is offering more analysis, and I wanted to upload more consistently. Like the image friend one and the email ARG one were like news updates for UTDR, some of the first ones that came out, by the way. Subscribe if you want to see updates for Undertale and Deltarune as fast as possible, but also those videos had full scripts, and I really tried to add in analysis and the community's analysis too. I'm also not diminishing theory crafting, but I believe literary analysis is how you make good theories and could improve your theory crafting. There's a lot of complaints I want to make about other videos that I'm gonna make right now in a short second, but I also just like realize, why don't I just do what I want to see more of? Not 30-minute plus bare bones news updates on things that could be summarized and analyzed intricately in like 10 minutes or less. Like the UTDR community isn't dumb, like we all make jokes, right? But I like taking the Vince Gilligan approach to this. I always have confidence in the audience that they're smarter than I am. Like those 30-minute analysis videos, like 20 minutes of those are just summary. You don't need those. You know what happened in the game. Now trust me, I do have a video in the works for February, and immediately you're gonna see why that video took a lot more time. There'll be another big analysis video like the Ralsei and the Deltarune artist one. Those are just some of my favorite videos that I've made. Stay tuned for more consistent uploads. There's gonna be another shorter but hopefully fun and watchable long form January video. There's gonna be weekly Elliot Online long form from now on. I promise you that. Thank you viewers for watching. What do you call my viewers? My fans. Maybe they're called onliners or something? No, that sucks.